Is the Atomos Ninja V the best field monitor on the market? Let's discuss. Well, how's it going? I'm Mark Duffy. Welcome to my channel. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Atomos Ninja V. This got sent out to me. I do get to keep it, but it doesn't have any impact on my views or thoughts about it. So you're actually going to be hearing exactly what I think about this so far. I have it for a few months. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a videographer. I don't understand what 422 is. To me, it sounds like football formation. So in that regards, I won't be able to discuss too much about that. I do know about the specs of this. I have researched about this because I have wanted one of these for a long time. But I'm going to just tell you, just from an average user's perspective, a basic videographer and a photographer. Build quality in this is absolutely insane. Full metal body. This is built like an absolute tank. I have other field monitors and they don't feel like this. They feel a little bit plasticky. They feel a little bit, not flimsy, but you know, you have due care needed for it. This is a professional's field monitor. This is for the professional who's in and out doing shoots all the time, not doing YouTube videos, not being in a safe studio environment. I mean, like out and about, and this could get thrown into your bag. This could fall. This has been made for wear and tear. You can feel it, you can see it. It is built like an absolute tank. The next thing you're going to notice on this, it only has one button on the side, and that's because the entire screen is touchscreen, and all the menus are all done through touchscreen. Really nice. It's very responsive. I haven't tested it with gloves, but what I usually find with touchscreens is they're not overly responsive to people wearing gloves, so you may have to take the gloves off. Let's talk about screen quality, and the image on this is absolutely gorgeous. It's really, really accurate. The color renditions, the brightness, it's a savagely bright monitor, but you will hear it in the fans. It has quite a noisy fan. We'll get back to that in a minute. But yeah, the color actually really good. Now, if you're talking to me about 422 and color bit, not really my thing. I'm not really clued into that too much. I'm not a videographer, I'm a photographer. So I understand 16-bit because raw photos are 16-bit, and I understand the difference between 10 and 8-bit. But when you start talking 422, I have absolutely no idea what that means. Not even going to go into it. You can let me know in the comments what it means and I'll learn, and I will look into it more. But you know, my A7 III is an 8-bit. I think you're wasting your time shooting it in S-Log 2. You just don't have the color gamut to expand on. So I shoot in HLG3. Usability wise, there's so many options in it. Zebra lines, peaking, and waveforms all built in, and it's actually using its own. So it's reading the scene from your camera, and it's able to determine. So it's not previewing. I thought that's how it was going to work, that it would take off from the Sony where the zebra lines should be, where the peaks. But when I was doing them, they were doing them separately. They were kind of a little bit different as well. They display differently as well. But I thought that was really cool. Like, I could have the zebra lines on this and not have it on the Sony. I'm not too sure why you wouldn't do that. But anyway, yeah, so built into this, you have zebra lines, you have peaking, you have waveform. So if you have a camera that doesn't have that, you now have it with this. Now, a cool feature of this is not just a field monitor. It's also a screen recorder. So you can get a 500 gig SSD like I put into this caddy. You do get the caddy with it. It's probably one of the only things you get with it. You get the caddy. So I put a 500 gig SSD and you just simply slide it in till it clicks in. Boom. Now it does stick out a little bit there. Would have rather it didn't, but there you go. The only thing is, it's not going to get hit because your cables are there. I can see why they did it that way there. I think there are other Atomos branded SSDs you can get. They seem very pricey. You know, I got an SSD for like €150 or something like that. Put it in the caddy. Now the cool thing with screen recording is it will record your EVF. So all the settings in your camera. So if you're teaching photography, you're teaching videography, you can show exactly the settings, how you use your camera, how you set up your composition. Or like I was doing recently, I was doing a lens comparison between the Samyang 85mm against the Sigma and the Sony. You can check out the video up here. And I do use this for that particular reason. Now, from my research, I have heard that when you record onto this, it will increase your bitrate depending on the camera you're using. I found that with the A7 III, it doesn't really do much, but on other camera brands, you could extend your camera from 8-bit to 10-bit by recording straight onto this. With the Sonys though, if you set your HDMI settings on the A7 III to be only recording out to this, to the recorder, and bypass recording onto the camera on 4K, you can retain eye autofocus when using HDMI, because it's one of the killers about using an A7 III is once you go 4K with a screen on it, you can no longer have eye autofocus, which is just so irritating. That's a fix for that. Gerald has a full video on it. Now that we spoke about all the great things of this monitor, let's talk about some of the cons. First con, you'll hear it. Oh, you will hear it. You have to hold the button quite a long time. There you go. I don't even have to hold this close to the microphone. You'll hear it. It has a ferociously loud fan. Now it does calm down. Initially it'll start really loud, then it will calm down. And that's kind of the level it sits at. So if you have a microphone on your camera, it's going to pick up the fan. Now the only thing is, with fan noise, my lights make noise. The Aperture 100D that I'm using as a key light, the 200X that I was using for product photography, I'm just using it just as a background and side kicker. I can hear the fans. I can hear the fan of that light all the time, so the microphone's going to pick that up. But yeah, you can probably hear the fan. So that's one of the cons I have, is the fan noise. The next con is the fact that it doesn't come with an MPF battery. It takes MPF batteries, pretty standard, doesn't come with one. Now, if you live in the UK, you can buy cheap ones off Amazon, anywhere. But if you live in Ireland, you cannot. They will not ship them because they're lithium ion. So you have to buy them off retailers in Ireland, and they cost a fortune. They cost about €100 for a battery like this, where you could buy two for £25 on Amazon. So it is, for Irish users, it's a bit of an expense. Instead of giving you the MPF battery, they give you this adapter. So this is the adapter, and it just sits in, boom, and it plugs into the wall. Now, if you're doing studio shoots like I'd be doing here, elect it. I just put it into the 4-way extension that I have down below and just power it, and no big deal. If you're on the go though, you're going to need a battery, and if you're in Ireland, you're going to have to spend €100 to get that battery. So a little bit of a con. For the price point you're paying, I would have expected a battery. And that brings me to the next point, the next con that I have. It doesn't come with a HDMI cable. This is a cable I got with another field monitor. It doesn't come with it. You have to go buy your own. There's an awful lot of assumptions made by Atomos, I feel, that you would have all of this stuff. You'd have top quality stuff. But what happens if you're starting out and you don't? Now, you can't power it when it comes to you because you're on the go. You can't connect it to your camera because you don't have a cable. I don't understand it, because the price point in Ireland is €850. It is expensive. This is an expensive asset. I'm going to say asset because this is so good. But I will say this. For the cons, they're only quite small. They're only quite small because the quality is unbelievable. I was talking to a videographer over the weekend. I was doing a shoot, and he was using one, and I was like, what are your thoughts on it? And he's the best field monitor he's ever bought. And one of the best things about it is the fact that it actually screen records, or actually just records. He doesn't even use it for the screen recording, he just records. The fact that he can back up onto an SSD, it's better than backing up onto another SD card. They could fail, less chance of this failing. And he says to me anyway, his camera takes 2 cards, so he records onto both cards, then he records onto this as well. He has so much backup. It's absolute peace of mind for him with all the shoots that he's doing. In conclusion, this is not built for the average YouTuber who has a small budget and is looking for something simple to use and just to see what they're doing. This is for the professional videographer who needs to back up their files, needs it to be robust because they're on the go and anything could happen. That's for these, and I tell you, this is the best investment you're going to make for that. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you got something from this. If you like it, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, follow me on all the social medias under Mark Duffy Photography, and until the next time, later gators.